20146. That's your SMS line at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. Talk to us, hashtag BusinessAM. Now, data from the Kenyan Motor Industry Association, KMI, indicates that the sale of new luxury cars rebounded 7% in the year ended December, which speaks opposite to the economic slowdown brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, for dealers, including DTW, moved 152 units in the review period compared to 142 units the year before, which was a huge contrast to the overall new vehicles that witnessed a 16% slump in sales to 13,109 units in the same period. Under the review period, it emerged that rich households and some private companies, however, increased their purchase of luxury cars in a period when a majority were cutting down on expenditure to cushion themselves from economic downturn brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. BMW sold in Chape, Kenya, led by the best performance to 24 from 17. Mercedes sold by DTW 59 from 47. To have a glimpse of the automotive industry in Kenya, we're joined by Michael De Souza, who is the General Manager, Sales and Marketing, CAETANO, Kenya. Michael, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Elijah. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Now, let's get into it. What does the automotive industry look like in Kenya? Paint for us, especially the car sales trends and that luxury car sales segment.
Okay, so I think we're working in a very interesting market, unlike some countries around the world.
Yes.
The reason I say that is, if you look at the new car market, we dominate about only 15%. 85% is the gray or the mitumba market, as we call it. So when somebody's looking for a car, not only will he look at the local dealer to offer, a local spec vehicle with the local warranty, the local backup and everything, but 85% of the customers in the market actually opt for a used vehicle. A vehicle coming from outside may not necessarily be homologated or ideal for our market, given our driving conditions, fuel conditions and stuff. But the reality is, people do car 8 years old. In their perception, they have a new registration. It is their new car. They're proud of it. Unfortunately, you're not really comparing like for like, because when you buy a car from us, we bring it in as a brand new car for this market. Our manufacturer, I speak for most of the other dealers as well, or all of them. I don't think any manufacturer will allow a vehicle that is not suitable for the market to come in officially through the local dealer.
Yes.
So what we're faced with is a very challenging market. So when let's say you come in to look at a car from our stables, we have Hyundai, we have Renault. You will also go and look at our competition, as in the other local dealers. But you will also step into a few of the used car dealers to compare with what they have in stock. And, they would have anything from a 1-year-old to an 8-year-old car. So you're now not comparing like for like, but in the eyes of the customer, he's looking at a new car. It's fresh coming to the country. So that's a bit of a challenge. On the luxury market, you mentioned just now, there was a spike in December. I think a couple of attributes could have contributed to that. One, because of the declined purchase, as demonstrated on the KMI from Feb, when this whole COVID sort of came into play and people closed down, people working from home, a new vehicle is not really a priority purchase. And this would be for corporates and or individuals. Corporates, one of the reasons is maybe they had their staff working from home. So the sales team, the technical team were not physically visiting people. And then you had the individuals, the directors of the companies who may have required their vehicles to be changed during the course of the year, but they held off on that purchase. To be honest, a new vehicle was really not a priority purchase, which is what people were trying to be cautious of. A lot of people, unfortunately, lost their jobs in Kenya and around the world. So it really wasn't a priority spend. So coming to December, I think a couple of things contributed to this. One, maybe people realize, okay, they've needed to spend the money. They do need the vehicles because they're spending a lot on their older fleet, which doesn't make too much financial sense. Your expenses are high. Second, it could be that people trying to take advantage of the VAT jumping back to 16% on the 1st of January. So, take advantage of that 2% saving. Some may say, from what COVID has taught us over the last couple of months, almost a year, is that life is short. So, I like to think that maybe some people thought, you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. So if you needed a new car, if you want to treat yourself to a new car, why not? Just do it. Take advantage of the offers that I think ourselves and a lot of local dealers did have at the time as well.
Yes. I like the way you painted, Michael. Just help us understand, because when you're saying that 15% of our market is the one that is actually in that segment for new cars, and that the 85% will be on second-hand, third-hand cars that come into the country. So when you say that, when you're talking about 152 units, when you're talking about some dealers increasing their car sales by 7, how much a success is that?
Well, so for the new dealers, I mean, we had a great December. I've been in the automotive industry for 7 years, and December has, for me in the past, always been a fairly quiet month. So I was really surprised with the kind of traction we had in December, considering it's almost 75% of a full month. I mean, we closed on the 24th of December, but we actually invoiced 9 Hyundais and 9 Renaults in December alone. So in the 3 weeks, we had a lot of people who came in. We would have probably invoiced a couple more, but because of the cycle of getting the vehicles out of bond, we weren't able to complete the full cycle for the customer. But I think for us, it demonstrated that, the market is ready to spend. We had a huge decline, and we were all hoping that this is a sign of things to come in 2021.
Yes.
We're hoping that, sorry.
Yes, Michael, just continue.
Yeah, so we're hoping that this is a sign of things to come. It has been a very tough year, I think, for ourselves in the motor industry, for all walks of life in Kenya and around the world. So this, for me, is a positive sign that the economy does want to get back walking and running again fairly soon. You can see a lot of infrastructure changes on our roads, so hopefully that will translate to a lot more sales for us and for the new car market in Kenya.
Would we also interpret it like this, Mike, that it is not a correction in that segment? It's basically just a rebound from what was a low period in the entire of 2020. Is that an indication of what is going to happen in 2021?
I hope so. And, some of our customers that we actually had in December, so there's that suppressed sales or purchases that didn't take place from Feb, so that may have caused a bit of a spike. But a lot of our customers who came through in December, and I'm talking for ourselves on our brands, we did have some conversions or conquests, if I can call it that, from previous dealers or previous customers who used to have the second-hand cars, the Mitumba cars, who came to us and they said, look, we've seen your campaigns that you are running, and we want to know more about your vehicles. And some of the experiences that they have had is that they would buy a second-hand car and not have the full driving pleasure or driving convenience that they would have expected because of breakdowns, engine failures, and stuff like that. And it boils down to, is the car suitable for our market? So I guess that's where we and the other 15% who are taking part in this new car market it's our job to try and help our consumers out there to compare. So when you're making a decision to buy a car, yes, the capital outlay on the newer vehicle is a little bit higher or considerably higher. It's not really fair to compare an 8-year-old car with a brand new car, but the running costs are considerably low. I mean, I'll give you an example. Back in the day, I was working for a company that had over 300 vehicles spread around, and not one of those vehicles did we buy as secondhand. And the reason for that was it was a multinational I was working for, and their company policy was very straightforward. You buy a brand new car for your team so that when they need to move, they move. There's no breakdown or, something's wrong with the car. They don't feel confident to drive it, safety issues and stuff like that. So I think in the corporate world, a lot of people are changing the mindset on that. And your mobile phone, I don't know what phone you're using, Elijah, but I would imagine you're changing it probably annually or every 2 years. And cars, like any machine, like your laptop, like your mobile phone, your TV, your fridge, is changing so quickly. So you buy something new today, and already tomorrow you see there's a new one out, and part of you feels like, why didn't I wait? But the reality is, a car, an automotive vehicle, is made up of different mechanical and electronic components. And with safety, if you the kind of technology we have today on the engine, so on the output, the performance, or this, even the safety that is going into vehicles, all manufacturers are improving the vehicle safety for the safety of the consumer. You know, most of the time you're driving with your loved one. So I think in Kenya, I think there's a little bit of a mindset changing on that, and people want to have the convenience of a hassle-free drive.
Yes.
Of buying a new car, and hopefully we'll see that change of 85 to 15% changing in the coming years.
All right, Michael, it's a good thing that we're talking about that, because we looked at what was in the budget policy statement for 2021-2022. There seems to be an interesting clause in that. There's a plan from the government to make sure that by 2026, there will be no importation of second-hand cars into the country. Michael, when you look at clauses like that, how does it make you feel? And is that a window for you also to do good business as from 2026 onwards? And do you think that really we're being too ambitious by saying that by 2026 only new cars will be assembled or imported into the country?
Well, I think you saw me smile when you brought up that statement. I mean, when I saw that, I was very, very happy.
Yes.
I think for my fellow Kenyans, I think it's a great leap. Can we do it? I'm very confident we can. I mean, if I give you a quick example, when the country took a decision to ban plastic bags, I think we all thought this can't be done, but we did it. We've proved that if we put our minds to it and look at the bigger picture, then it is something that we can do.
Yes.
Will it change our sales? For sure. I mean, I think we have a great year ahead of us, and building up to 2026, there's a lot we need to do. Regulation has put a lot in place as well. So for local assembly, there are a lot of tax incentives on it, which obviously would ultimately pass on to the customer. So a brand new car being imported today, we're also looking at local assembly in the different components that is available.
Yes.
There are a couple of companies out there that are actually doing the assembly. And I think in the past, it has been primarily a lot of the commercial vehicles. More recently, some passenger vehicles are going into it in the different formats. We are looking at that as well. And I think ultimately building to 2026, the more manufacturers that come into Kenya and put in the investment, to go CKD, completely knocked down, would be a bit of a far-fetched as at now. And the reason for that is, to go into the kind of investment to put up an assembly plant, a fully fledged assembly plant, is very capital intensive. So if you're only selling 50%, 15% of what the market absorbs, then it doesn't make any financial sense. But I think this is a great announcement, and I know I read it 3 or 4 times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And it did say has plans, and I do hope that it is passed and it does go through, and we can use the next 5 years building towards that. And Elijah, I don't know what you're driving, but I hope you will visit our showroom fairly soon to pick yourself a new car or two.
Let me hope that I shall be in that 15% segment in Kenya. We don't seem to be so many, though. All right, Michael, let's understand, therefore, we're getting into 2021. I mean, we've even seen Porsche being among those ones that are even closing their dealerships in the country. I mean, what sort of trends do we expect from this top segment? Talking about the top.
Okay, so yes, Porsche unfortunately is in the process of changing hands, but I think that's not surprising. I mean, over the years, brands have changed local representation, and I think they do it for a number of reasons. I wouldn't know the details behind a particular change, but we have seen some brands changing hands, especially when you've got local partnerships in place. Some manufacturers have opted in the past to come and set up base here. So, of course, that gives you an overall advantage. I won't name names for obvious reasons, but there are some of the manufacturers who have set up directly here. And I think when they realize that what is coming into play into Kenya in 2026, I think we may see some more choosing to make that change, and rather than holding hands with local representatives or like CAETANO for ourselves, we're a fairly big company dating back to 1946. That might be older than your parents, Elijah. But we are present in 37 countries, and So the kind of partnerships that we have directly with manufacturers around the world, we have a wide range of brands. And I guess any OEM, any manufacturer wants to have the right partner in whichever market they're in that can grow their market share, that can represent the brand positively. Like I said at the beginning, it is a very difficult market we're dealing with. And if we look at the luxury, again, somebody going to look for a luxury car, and I have so many examples, I can't name them for obvious reasons, but unfortunately, the local customer will look at importing his own vehicle if he feels the local dealer is, in his mind, too expensive. But if you look at what the local dealer is giving you, an engine that is compatible for your market. If you go and import, even yourself, you decide to fly out to one of the right-hand drive markets, pick up a very high performance engine vehicle and bring it to Kenya. I know from experience, even with the brands that I'm with now and the brands I was with previously, the manufacturer will not give me access to engines that they feel or they know are not technically compatible with our market. So unfortunately, again, some of the luxury end guys will import engines that are not suitable for our market. And in the long run, that actually has a negative effect on the brand because he spent his hard-earned money. He think he's perceived, or his perception is he saved a few shillings, but when the engine has a problem, the car has a problem, then he starts tarnishing the brand. And he says, "Oh, these vehicles are not good for Kenyans." So, but reality is, something that is suitable for the market. Unfortunately, it does come with a bit of a price tag. But as we head to 2026,
yes,
when people are assembling locally, then I think there'll be a bit of a flip, and so the consumer will be able to a brand new car with the local warranty. And even if he's not able to buy a brand new car, you buy a car from me, Elijah, today. In 4-5 years' time, you want to come for a trade-in. That becomes a second-hand car that somebody in 5 years who wants to buy a car can buy a local spec car. That's the sort of trend we're going to in markets. The used car market is generated from within. So somebody buys a new car today, in 5 years it flips. And I've had in my I was working at a bank at one point, and somebody wanted a particular brand of a car that is very common on our roads. And I said to him, "Can I open your eyes and can I change it? Rather than go for that brand or any brand, can I get you to think, buy a local spec car, whatever it is, buy a local spec car." And what I tell people is buy the newest local spec car that you can afford, because chances are it is made for Kenya. It will work in Kenya. You can't afford brand new. Look at the local dealers. They have trade-ins, they have demo units. So buy a car that will give you hassle-free motoring.
Yes. All right, Michael, as we clear this conversation this morning, let me get this from you as well. I mean, you got into 2020. Everybody was complaining about how it affected business. Any change of strategy that is sort of customer oriented that you had to get into just to continue surviving within the pandemic, and which you think or which you see that you carry into 2021?
Yeah, so I think like other industries, we've had to make a lot of changes. I actually joined CAETANO Kenya in April last year. So sort of just at the beginning of the onset of it, as we felt it.
Yes.
Because we're a new company, because of the industry that we're in, we could not work from home. But what we've done, some of the changes that we've done, we have to provide a mobile showroom. So if a customer is interested in a vehicle and he's concerned about coming out here, we will come to you. So I have a very able sales team, so we will bring vehicles to you. Elijah, I don't know what time you get off air, but if I get on the road, I can bring a couple of cars to show you with my team. So we will come to you. We'll come to your office. We'll come to your residence. Whatever is convenient for you. We'll, of course, carry our little kit to sanitize the vehicle for you. We have our masks. So these are the kind of changes that we have to do. So for a customer who doesn't want to come to us for safety reasons, we will take the car to them, sanitize it in the car park, step away, let the customer go through his potentially new vehicle, and changes like that. What we're also doing is taking videos of the vehicles for you. So in the showroom, we may have up to 10 vehicles, and you're not sure what you're looking for. You may say, "I'm looking for a 4-wheel drive, 5-seater or 7-seater. I really can't visualize when you send me the photos." So we'll take a video with, me or somebody from the sales team sitting in the vehicle and demonstrating it. And then once you go through your process and you say, "Okay, I quite like the Hyundai Tucson and the Renault Koleos," We'll bring it over to you for you to have a feel of the car, get into her, drive her, get to know her on a personal basis.
Pretty much. Michael, thank you very much for taking your time this morning to speak to us here on Metropole Television. Maybe we need a visit so that I can actually get to see the cars that you have and how sweet they are for the Kenyan market.
Just send me a WhatsApp. If you're getting off air, I'll bring a car to you. Thank you very much, Elijah.
Pretty much.
Stay safe.
All right.
Cheers.
On that note, we take a short break here on Business. And once we come back, let's look at how the real estate sector is also rebounding within the COVID-19 pandemic.